Now for registering point to list, what we're going to do here is select a source file. I have an example here. I'm going to create a project which is unmoved, and I'm going to use control points to position my point cloud. As we can see here, as I click down here, these coordinates are unprojected. Basically, they are positioned around 0, 0, 0. With this project, I had some control points. So using a list, I would go to File, Registration, and using a list. Now, in my folder here, I have an example with the by list here. I've also created a position image just to show where these different points are. So 1 point here, 1 point there. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to load up my point list. So geodetic points. These points are projected, so this means that they have perhaps very large numbers. If I look at the example here, we're looking at thousands of meters, and this is millions. So this is in UTM. What this is telling me is it's very distant. What we have to do here is change the origin of the point. So what this is doing is actually just displacing the point cloud very far from where it currently is. So by clicking on yes, I'm actually changing the position of my point cloud. So as I click here again, we'll notice that the coordinates have completely changed. It doesn't mean that they're correctly positioned. It just means that the project has been moved in that general direction. Because the way Vision Lidar works, we are re-indexing elements, and our index has a position. We just moved our entire index, so that's not going to be a problem. It's just if we want to do any registration in this area, we can't be working 5 million meters away, for instance. That would create errors. Now, how this works afterwards is we have a list of points. So I showed a bit where these points were earlier on. So by clicking on a specific point, I have a basic to move point cloud position. This is the point cloud to be moved. This is the scan here. But I'm going to want to pick the move point myself because I don't believe that it's in the correct position at the moment. So I'm going to just pick a point here that corresponds to my first point. Because if I look, I believe they're down here and they're way off. So this is what I mean by in the beginning it's just a basic positioning, but it's not in the correct position. So you have to go yourself modify these to move points. So I go and I repick these 4 points here to correspond correctly. Now these are the 4 points that I've determined. And once I'm done, I can validate here my changes. Now, unfortunately, something that I do see is that the rotation is going to be very large here. So this means I don't have enough points on a certain elevation level. They're all basically on the same level. So I perhaps either need to change points or I don't have enough geodetic points on a specific plane, because what's happening is the points are being kind of flipped, which is not desirable. Oops, this is no good. I'm going to try this just a bit more. I'm going to lower these points and make sure that the other ones are higher, and we'll see where that brings us. Otherwise, I'll just have to accept the fact that it's going to be flipped. Change my point number 3. Because if I look at this here, I've adjusted my points. If I apply, I will notice that my position is changed. However, oh, here it's correct. Okay, so that's good. Because sometimes if you don't have enough elevation difference, it's going to flip your point cloud completely and it'll be upside down, and that's really not desirable. But here we can see our differences between our control points and our reference point. Hello.